Welcome back to the Navy Sports Magazine. Time to talk a little track and field with Benjamin Stewart. And all right, I go back to your high school days when you were a relatively good hurdler. You know, you
Yeah.
probably could have just concentrated in hurdling if you wanted to, but you have expanded that menu considerably here at the Naval Academy. First, let's go back to that point. You know, did you see that concentration in hurdling as maybe your avenue to college at one point? And obviously, how did you end up here at the Naval Academy?
Well, actually, I really never actually knew about the Naval Academy until I got a letter from Coach Cooksey my junior year,
Mm-hmm.
and then I actually applied and didn't get in. And then my dad told me about the preparatory school that was right across the bay because I grew up in Jamestown, Rhode Island,
Mm-hmm.
and in Newport. I talked to the coach over there, Coach Donahue, a little bit, and actually wanted to serve. I looked at a few different schools, the Merchant Marine Academy and Coast Guard, which is 2 hours away from us.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually everything kind of worked out, and I got a letter from NAPS. But going off your original question, which was
Hurdling.
hurdling,
Mm-hmm.
um, I started doing distance in middle school, and that really carried my endurance. And then I started doing the 110 hurdles for like my freshman year of high school, and then my coach was like, "You're pretty good at the 400 and distance and the hurdles, so why don't you do the 300 hurdles?" And I did it my sophomore year, and I got second in state. So just kind of rolled over from there. And I never did the 400 hurdles. I did it like 3 times, and I actually did it once over last weekend. And but then as I started to get to doing all these other events, I started the long jump, triple jump, and I even threw the jab a bit here and there. And eventually I did pole vault and got over 8 feet, which is pretty mediocre compared to one of our vaulters, Stefano Pineda, when he was in high school. But after I did all these events, someone told me about the decathlon
Sure.
and that actually they don't do it in Rhode Island. So I had to go out of state to get an actual score for the decathlon. But what I'm trying to say is I was pretty good at all these events, and my coach was I was always that person that he threw in there so we could get some points.
Absolutely. Now, in terms of being able to concentrate on the decathlon, you know, how specialized is the training to make sure that you give enough attention to all of the different sports that you have to master to score points in that event?
Well, a lot of it comes down to speed and I'd say intensity in all the events. Sure, there's a lot of endurance there, which I definitely built up in cross country, but a lot of the sports like throwing, pole vaulting, hurdles, sprints, even the 400, it all comes down to speed and form. So at least a lot of stuff that Coach Cook's been focusing on is speed and form every day. And some of the more technical events like pole vault and hurdles, if you can get those down, they really carry over to all the other events. And I really think once you start to see all the different events and all their different techniques, you can pull little bits from each event into the other events. Like long jump transfers over to pole vault, and hurdles pretty much transfers to everything. If you're a good 110 hurdler, you're definitely set to being a decathlete.
And you mentioned Stefano earlier, and obviously very good at what he does. Can you go to one of those guys and some of the people that specialize in those events just to say, hey, can you look at what I'm doing and maybe see, is there anything you see that, could help me maybe do that a little bit better?
Definitely, I at least in practice, every time I do the vault, I always ask if Stefano or somebody to watch my takeoff, tell me if I'm jumping, if I'm actually pushing my chest forward and getting over the pole and rolling the pole forwards. Um, in throwing, I definitely go to the throwers, ask Sean Brennan or Sean Richards about jab, because the cool thing about being a decathlete is you actually get to practice with all the different teams.
Yeah, sure.
So like the sprinters and the throwers and the pole vaulters, they all have their own groups, but then as a decathlete, you get to go talk to them all, and I really enjoy that because it feels like you're part of the whole team. And But I'd also say going off that, it definitely is good to be at all the events, and being a decathlete, it sort of transfers into your own life as well. Like I don't know, just wanting to have those skills and learn all those new things helps you in life, where you like see all these different opportunities and you want to go out and get them
Yeah,
all
sure.
pretty much.
No
But
doubt. Well, and obviously, eventually in your life, in a position of leadership, you never know what you may be called upon,
exactly.
and being able to juggle all that. I got to ask you this question though. I'm telling you right now, if you and me went outside right now, and I went to throw a javelin, there is no doubt in the back of my mind the point of that javelin would end up in the back of my head. How on earth did you figure out the first time you picked one up? How did you figure out how to throw that thing successfully and just get it to go forward without impaling someone?
Ah, I'd say the first time I actually threw it, it was this little turbo jab plastic thing that you do in high school. And I was like, Coach, I really want to throw this thing. I think I can throw it pretty far, and I think I got like third in the states. It was pretty cool, but for middle school, obviously. But
Yeah, but still, that's even better.
yeah,
It's
and
even better. You're 12 and 13 years old throwing the thing forward. That's a great sign.
yeah. Uh, honestly, that does scare me a little bit. Like I feel like I picked it up backwards sometimes, throwing it backwards, and it tumbles over itself. But uh, to really practice, uh, you just kind of think of it like throwing a football almost,
Sure.
or a baseball
Yep.
in general. You just really got to get your elbow up, because you can tear that, like thrower's elbow or something. But yeah, throwing a football and
Is it really that simple? I mean, nothing's ever that
it's
simple,
not that.
but if you can, how long did it take you to master the form and the fundamentals of that? Really, I mean, that's to me the big thing because
I wouldn't say I haven't even mastered the form yet, but I still get that thrower's elbow, and really you never get perfect, but you always try to reach that point, that perfect thrower, whatever. But uh, it just takes practice, and definitely taking care of yourself,
Yeah.
listening to other people, and
I was gonna say too. I mean, you're competing in so many events. How do you take care of your body? I mean, during the course especially during the course of your competitive season.
during the course of a competitive season, definitely a lot of afterwards, after practice, stretching. Definitely shout out to our trainers in the training room, Heather and Amanda. They take care of us so well. And I don't know, just going to talk to her, like I'm feeling this pain in my elbow or this in my knee. What can I do? And then repeating that process every day, and making sure you're on a regime to take care of your body, because it builds up and eventually can hurt you at the end of the season or later on in life.
As you mentioned, you were recruited by Coach Cooks, who had so much long-term success here, and all of you have now gone through the coaching change with Coach Cook, who's obviously got a tremendous resume and background coming in. What was that like for you all? To see that switch, and obviously with the success you all have enjoyed under Coach Cook already here.
It was a pretty big surprise, actually. I didn't see that coming over the summer, but coming back, I was actually pretty excited because I read his bio over email. I was on ProTrimid, and I was like, oh, he taught Ashton Eaton, who was a decathlete,
Sure.
and over in Oregon.
Right.
Yeah, he worked with all those people, and I was pretty excited coming in. And once we came in and he talked to us during practice, I mean, I got even more excited, because at least now, um, he's working with everyone and kind of pushing people to do more events, because it helps you see your event better after seeing another event, in a way,
Sure.
moving those uh, techniques together. But something Coach Cook harped on a lot is technique, and definitely still doing a lot of that and improving upon that, and speed and intensity, and I don't know. He says so much, and just like competing. At least when we're at a meet, uh, if Coach Cook's there and he's yet, I don't know, I'm going over the high jump and he says, "Compete, Ben, come on, compete." I'll just like I'll clear another 2 inches or 3 inches.